This is the Tiki and Tierney show. You ready? You ready?
Kind of. Not really.
Okay.
It's Subway Series Day, BT. By the way, I hate the way that they do the Subway Series. 2 games now, 2 games in late July. Just feels like not a real series. Kind of feels, I don't know, manufactured.
You see Mr. Buzzkill emerged from the golf course yesterday.
It's obviously because of how I feel about this series right now. I got to tell you, BT, I wanted to be excited about the Mets and the Yankees. It just feels like every year you get these 2 teams. Maybe last year it was blown up because both teams had started so well and it felt real. Like, oh, this means something. Mm-hmm. This Subway Series feels juiceless. It feels like there is nothing to be excited about in this Subway Series. The Mets have lost 8 of 9. And we go into last weekend. I mean, you and I talking about the Pirates. Yeah, the Pirates are good, but probably a little bit of a mirage there. What's going to happen? Pirates are going to take 2 out of 3.
That's what we said.
That's what we said. Yeah. They took 2 out of 3, including scoring 14 runs in one of these, whatever it was. It was ridiculous. So, I mean, the Mets are on a slide.
Yep.
The Yankees are not as in a bad of a spot, but Rizzo, who was hitting 300 at one point, is kind of waffling right now with the neck injury. Judge is out. Volpe is lost. There's not that excitement's not there. Maybe Willie Calhoun is a DH. He's been exciting. But seriously, that's what I'm talking about. And so when I think about this game, what am I excited for? What's it going to tell me? What's it going to – Is there a battle that's going on between Mets fans and Yankees fans? Our team is better than yours. No, our team is better than yours. This has zero juice.
Okay, this year. To me, it's not about. Nobody's saying we're better. I mean, that's like, 2 losers who can't get a date saying, "Oh yeah, but I had a good phone number and I paid for it."
She looked at me.
Sure, she looked at me. Is probably a cleaner way to say it. I'm gonna say this. There's definitely not the juice that we want. I'm not here to create any full sense of enthusiasm, but there is juice, but it's in a very unconventional way. And let me explain, okay? There's a couple of different ways the Subway Series historically plays out. One team's really good. One team sucks. It's hard to, at that point, it's like, is what it is. Both teams are good. And then you conjure up the thoughts of a real Subway Series, 2000 2.0.
And that was last year.
No doubt. And other years before that as well. But then there's this year where both teams are supposed to be good, and they both stink. See, what's happened in the last, really since the Judge injury, the Mets' recent play has shielded the Yankees from the heavy criticisms.
That's right. Last week we talked all Mets.
It was all Mets. Steve Cohen felt compelled to come out and say, listen, what he said over the weekend, I believe in what I believe, and I think we've got the people in here to get it right. No, I'm not happy, but I'm not going to do something crazy, whatever. Billy Epler spoke. So when you've got the owner and the general manager coming out and speaking to, I don't want to say contextualize the season, but at least offer a little bit of perspective and maybe more directly a clearer sense of moving forward, that tells you that they're on high alert because they've been horrendous. Okay.
Yes.
So everybody knows that the Mets are a complete mess. With the Yankees were rolling. Here we went from that Dodgers series and Judge just hitting a home run every night, it seems. And despite the problems with Volpe and despite some other issues, both as position players and in the rotation, the Yankees were winning largely because Aaron Judge was replicating last year.
Yep.
And when Aaron Judge is on pace for 60-ish home runs like he was and running through walls and jumping over fences and the Yankees are winning, it was obscuring so many of the other issues. Now, again, this is back to my main point. The reason why there is juice, but I'm with you, it's unconventional. Whichever team, if a team gets swept, like if the Yankees, and by the way, I think the Mets are going to win the series, which means I think the Mets are going to sweep them.
Yes.
Because I think that they've got the as much as the Mets aces have been problematic, the Yankees offense is horrendous. It's anemic, and I think the Mets have the slight edge in the starting rotation, although if they get to the Mets bullpen, then it's lights out. They stink. But if the Yankees were to lose 2, there's nowhere to hide anymore because then you got to back off the Mets a little bit because they would have earned it by beating the crosstown Yankees at least temporarily, and then the Yankees get absolutely pounded. Not the juice we're looking for, different
So
kind of
what
juice.
you're saying is that the juice is in the results.
Yes.
Whatever the result is going to be either more damning for one of the teams.
Yep.
Or it's going to be somewhat lifting for the other team.
Yeah,
now,
yeah,
it's less
that's exactly
I
what
think
I'm
it's
saying.
less lifting
That's
for
what
the
I'm saying.
Yankees. Because at this point, the Yankees are supposed to beat the Mets.
I don't know if I'm not saying that.
I'm just
going
talking
in.
about the current trend. They've lost 8 of 9.
And what have the Yankees been doing?
Well, I mean,
they just lost 2 out of 3. Red Sox.
Yeah.
Labor Torres' head was up his behind. Didn't even make the play from Bowers. I mean, they're not hitting.
Talk about laissez-faire.
Yeah. Oh, I crushed him yesterday.
you should
we don't
have.
need to revisit. I absolutely. I'm done with Torres. Absolutely done. But I've been done with him for a while. He's never getting better. This is who he is. So I would disagree. I think that the Yankees right now, it's becoming more and more visible because when Judge gets hurt, remember, he got hurt on a Saturday, didn't play Sunday, Sunday Night Baseball.
Yes.
They had the day off Monday, and it was announced on Tuesday early he wasn't going to play. And that's when we knew it was a big problem. Okay.
Retroactive for whatever it was, the IL, back to whatever day it was.
Correct. But at that point, that's, you get a little 2 or 3 day grace period because Judge was playing so well. No Yankee fan thought it would be that big of a deal. He stubbed his toe. We'll sit out 2 games. He'll be fine. He's not playing till the All-Star game. Take it to the bank.
Yeah.
He's out weeks.
No,
He's out another month.
Well, BT, you're making my point. I mean, you go back to the San Diego trip, right? And in the West Coast trip, San Diego, Seattle, and L.A. They scored 10 runs 3 times. They scored 6 another time. You come to this Boston series, it's 2 runs, loss, 3 runs, victory, 2 runs, lost. It feels a weakened version of what we expect the Yankees to be.
It is.
Without Aaron Judge.
For sure.
And so Aaron Judge is not in this Subway Series. Pete Alonso's not in this Subway Series. The Mets have lost 8 of 9. The Yankees just lost 2 series in a row to teams that are, way below, not way below, but sub 500. I don't know. Actually, the Boston Red Sox, are they over 500 again now? They might be.
Yeah, they were picking it up
they're
a
just
little
at
bit.
it. They're just at it.
They backed, they're 5.
They're just at it.
They were picking up a little bit.
My point is,
Yep.
they're losing series they shouldn't have lost these last coming into this Subway Series. And who's the headliner? I guess it's the pitchers, but are you trusting that Sevy versus Scherzer is going to be?
Sevy's been getting the shell.
Exactly.
I trust Sevy. I don't trust him at all.
This does not have the juice that you would expect from a Subway Series. Now, obviously, we're going to watch it because it's the Subway Series, but I'm not going in saying, God, I got to see what's going to happen in this Subway Series. It's 2, power heads going against one another. It's just kind of like, it just doesn't have the feel to me this year.
All right, listen, I see different. Again, I'm not touting this as like where there's superstars everywhere. There's Mariano, there's Jeter, there's Piazza, there's this guy. I mean, it's totally. By the way, there's not a think about this. I don't know, Mom. Hold on. This might be the first time that we could ever say I've got to be missing a year or 2, but you go back to all the Jeter years. He was the answer. A-Rod as well. Piazza, David Wright. I think. Is this the first, Judge last year, of course, Pete last year, is this the first ever Mets-Yankees Subway Series since 97 where there is not an absolute single superstar position player on the field for either team? Because there's none playing the next year. You can sell me on anybody. You can sell me on Rizzo. You can sell me on McNeil or Nimmo or whomever. There's no superstars playing.
Alvarez is the only one I would
Not
say.
a superstar.
But he's not a superstar
Come
yet.
on, he's played 40 games.
But at least you believe he's going there.
I love the kid,
Right.
but he's not a superstar yet. He's been really good.
He
You
hasn't
get my
earned it.
point, though.
If he wins Rookie of the Year, maybe next year at this point we can have this
You know,
conversation.
then the profile
But
changes.
He's not there yet.
Yeah.
But honestly, he's the most interesting player.
And in a weird way, I'm making your point because when you say there's no juice, and I'm sitting here saying there's no superstars, I'm making. But again, hear me. And so it's a little nuanced.
Yeah,
It's definitely
I know what you're
semantics.
saying.
The juice comes on Thursday. If the Yankees get swept, watch. If the Mets get swept, watch. I mean, it's salvation. It's bare knuckle. We got to start saving seasons, man. That's what it's about. All right, 877-337-6666. Tiki coming off the golf course trying to come in here tell us no juice.
I'm just telling you, I don't feel it.
I hear you. And by the way, you're not alone. I heard that on the station a little bit yesterday. I heard a little bit this morning. I disagree, but I get it. All right, we're inside of our Town Fair Tire studio. Our friends at Town Fair remind you that you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. All right, let's get to you. What do you think? A little Yanks and Mets out of the chute, obviously. Tom's in Metuchen. What's going on, Tom?
What's up, Tom?
What's going on, guys? How you doing?
We're good.
BT, I just want to say, man, it's just been so upsetting as a Yankee fan these last few days. I mean, obviously Judge goes on the IL. I mean, it's not the NBA. One guy gets hurt. He shouldn't. I mean, I know he's the MVP of the league. Obviously, he's a beast. But I mean, you shouldn't have no offensive production just because of one guy in a baseball lineup.
Yeah.
Okay? Brian Cashman
It's pitiful.
has just done an awful job.
Brian Cashman has not earned the right. Yeah, no, Tommy. Keep going,
That's
buddy.
a great line, BT.
Keep going.
He hasn't. And we got Carlos Rodon injuring other players. He's hurting the team, Rodon. Before he's even pitched
Never seen him pitch. Who's that?
It's ridiculous.
And by the way, Tommy, the only contribution so far has been a negative one that Rodon's had on the season. He almost put Calhoun out when he hit him in the simulated game. Jeez.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And why did he get extended though? When you look at the Rays, and they don't have any superstars, and they're putting together a great wins, and they're putting runs together. Why can't they get? And they're doing it with Moneyball. The Yankees have money, and they can't do it.
No, it's beyond maddening, Tommy. And your frustration. Thanks for the call, there, buddy. Mirrors, honestly, every single Yankee fan that I know. Let me hit you with some numbers. I know it's a smallish sample, but since Aaron Judge got hurt. Now, this is obviously going to get better. How much better?
Are you sure?
Well, when you hear the one number, it has to.
Okay.
Otherwise, they won't win a game the rest of the year.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, but I don't know how much better it's going to get. That's the point. So since Judge got hurt, Rizzo, Stanton, Donaldson, Torres, and LeMahieu are hitting 109. 109.
Wow.
I mean, that makes Volpe look like Rod Carew with a 448
That's almost
OPS.
That's almost...
I mean,
it's
almost it's almost nothing, really. That's 11 for 101. So listen, I get it. I mean,
what?
Yeah, I mean Rizzo's 0 for 1 for 30.
Yeah.
Rizzo, Stanton, Donaldson, Torres, and LeMahieu 11 for 101 since Judge got hurt. And that's why we always get back to the Stanton, to the Cashman stuff.
It's actually miraculous that they've won any of these games.
I know.
Seriously.
Well, because of Calhoun and some other guys that, once again, Cashman's best trade is finding guys who can fill out the roster that he messed up from the get-go.
Be a savior for a day or a week.
Oh, so what is your best characteristic, sir? I am incredibly good at fixing my own mess, sir. Am I hired? I mean, that's Brian Cashman's best trait.
Almost fixing, BT.
Well, you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
At least plugging
Yes.
in some holes.
Yes.
Think about that.
Making
That's
it
what I
somewhat
do
compelling.
best.
Making it somewhat compelling with these guys who won't be on the roster in a year or two.
I address my mistakes. Linda is in Forest Hills. What's happening, Linda? How are you?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Linda.
What's up, Linda?
Wow, this Subway Series has absolutely no juice for me.
Yep.
Like you guys said, they both stink. As from a Mets perspective, it's just I have no confidence in the team. I wouldn't be surprised if they split. I have no confidence in this team. When they pitch, they don't hit, and when they hit, they don't pitch.
Yeah.
You
They
know,
haven't been catching the baseball very well either lately, to be fair,
and
Linda.
you're talking about Brian Cashman. You have his apprentice here in Queens.
He's not even as good as Cashman.
Yeah, exactly. Without the past record.
Yeah.
Like yesterday, he picks up Luke Voigt. Okay, another off the scrap heap. Instead of going for Daniel Murphy, who's now in Anaheim.
Oh, no. Dale Murphy's
Did you
38
see that?
years.
Did you see that?
Who
Yeah.
became a folk hero, but I'm just saying there's absolutely no juice. Except for, I will say, Alvarez.
Yeah.
He's up and coming.
He's very
I love
good.
him.
You know what's interesting, Linda? Alvarez has all the talent in the world. He's going to be a star, no doubt. Thanks
Thank
for the
you,
call.
Linda.
Well, listen, I said that I think the Mets are going to sweep this, and I'll stand by that. But really, at the end of the day, I don't think either team is good enough to win twice. Because look, say if the Mets win the first game, I think invariably one of their main deficiencies that tomorrow night's the bullpen, or they don't hit, and if the Yankees win tonight, then something's going to go wrong tomorrow.
Here's the unfortunate thing, and again, I hate the two games. That it's two and then two more in July 25th, 26th, I believe the dates are. The way that the rotation's set up. You have Max Scherzer, who I guess is the ace right now for the Mets, going against Sevy, who's been a shell of what we expect him to be. Mm-hmm. And then tomorrow, you have Cole, who's the ace of the Yankees, clearly defined ace of the Yankees, going against Verlander, who's supposed to be great, but he's a shell of what he's been because of the last couple of starts have not been good. Maybe if it was Scherzer Cole, we get a little bit of a great pitching matchup in one of these. But the way that it lined up, just even the pitching matchups, makes it all right. Scherzer's going to dominate, the Yankees in Game 1, and Cole's going to dominate the Mets in Game 2. It just didn't line up to make it even that compelling as far as the pitching matchup goes.
Yeah.
It's just the way that this thing came together and the circumstances surrounding it, with the injuries to the biggest stars in New York, baseball stars, Pete Alonso and Aaron Judge, probably the other way around, but Aaron Judge and Pete Alonso. I don't look at this series and say this game means something. They're both 9 games out of their respective divisions. I know the Yankees are 3rd and the Mets are 4th, but still, it doesn't feel like there's anything at stake here other than let's get off our slide or let's feel good about ourselves.
Well, let's save the season.
Is it save the season?
Well, at least let's start the process of maybe for
the Mets it saved the season stage. And I know it's still June 13th, but if the Mets definitively lose this series to the Yankees and they're now 11 games out, maybe even more.
And a bunch of teams in front of them.
Teams in front of them.
That's the problem for the Mets.
It's going to feel like,
yeah, I hear you. I can't refute that. Listen, there's some seasons that are amazing. There's some seasons that you just go in, you're like, I don't expect a whole lot. There's not many weird New York baseball seasons. I classify this as a weird one. It's just strange, man. Like, think about the three of the 4 names starting tonight and tomorrow. They're 3 Hall of Famers. Cole, Verlander, and Scherzer are all going to the Hall of Fame, and both teams have monstrous payrolls. Both teams were really good last year, and here we are sitting saying, may as well be playing the Mariners. That's crazy.
It is.
It's very weird. 877-337-6666. Now, I do think this is where I push back. I think there's a lot more juice than Tiki's saying, but again, I term it unconventional juice because the juice is going to come on Thursday if one of these 2 teams gets swept. Because the Mets have been shielding the Yankees. The Mets' poor play has obscured the way the Yankees have looked to an extent without Aaron Judge. But now, if that flips and the Mets win a couple, then there's nowhere for the Yankees to hide. And if the Mets lose 2, as Tiki just chronicled, wild card, falling further back from the Braves, and 3, 4, 5 teams in front of you, it gets dark early. All right, so we'll get back to you, Coles, Tiki, and Tierney on a busy Tuesday. Subway Series. A little juice here, Tiki, on the fan.